Welcome back to the garden. It's Father's Day 2025, June 15th, 2025, and I haven't been making garden videos, partly because there hasn't been much of a garden. The weather was still way too cold in the morning, in my opinion, to be planting too many things all the way into the first week of June. So that kind of delayed some things. And then I've also been really busy with other projects, other things going on in my life. So I haven't put a lot of time to the garden, but I figured today was as good a day as any to show you where I'm at. So I'll start in the part of the garden I haven't really used too much over the past few years, but trying to do a little bit more with it this year. So I have some plants that I purchased a few different places. Over here I've got a tomato plant. It's a Florida 91, whatever that means. And over here I've got a jalapeno plant. You can see there's some cilantro, and there's cilantro growing all over the place. I did plant seeds in one part of the garden, but this is something from last year that ended up over here. See, as usual, I need to do some weeding. There's always something popping up, but I've got to be careful in a few places like over here, because these shouldn't be weeds. These should be Fresno peppers. I planted Fresno pepper seeds here, so I've got to wait and see what comes up. These are seeds from Fresno peppers that I harvested last year. I dried out the seeds and put them in a Ziploc bag, and I planted them because I haven't seen any Fresno peppers for sale at any of the big box stores or garden centers that I've gone to. And I've got some things kind of growing randomly throughout the garden, like that should be carrots. I always have those come up every year, but I don't get very big carrots. And over here is another jalapeno plant. And then there's some of the ornamental plants that kind of grow into the garden, but in between, there's some raspberry bushes and strawberry plants. Over here in this pot, I've got a midnight snack tomato. I bought this plant a week ago, and it already had some small tomatoes on it. You see they're kind of black or purple in color. So I've never grown one of these before, or this particular type of tomato plant. I thought it'd be something different to try this year. Went to a different nursery than I had gone to in the past and found this. It's a pretty good price. Over here, I've got a Fresh Bites orange snacking pepper plant. I'll put a hoop around it later when it gets a little bit taller. I decided I'd grow it in a pot. Over here in this bare spot, I planted a couple blooms from the chives that have just gone nuts, gotten bigger and bigger every year, and now kind of spread out. So I decided to just bury those and see if something would come up this season or next season. In this area that's surrounded by chicken wire that I've tried to grow carrots in here in the past, I planted 4th of July tomato. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's supposed to come up in a month, but I figured why not? I'd try that one out, something different. Also in the chicken wire area, I've got 2 green bell pepper plants, California Wonder Bells. One's got a green hoop on it. The other one I need to get a hoop around. So when I went to the farmer's market, they had plants that were $3.50 each, or 3 plants for $10. Well, the bell peppers came in little groups of 4. So I thought each one was an individual plant. And the lady said, no, each one of those counts as 1 plant. So you could get 12 pepper plants for $10. So I decided to get 8 pepper plants and a tomato plant. I kind of really didn't have room to put more bell pepper plants in the other parts of the garden, so I just stuck them over here, and I figured I'd see what would happen. Right along the hedge where I've been throwing some compost lately, I got a couple bonus tomatoes already popped up. I don't think I've had tomato plants show up on this side of the garden before. They're probably from some compost that I buried over here before. And more weeding to do. I don't know what it is with these. They got really deep roots. But I decided to buy this triangular shaped lattice and try it out. It's pretty pricey. It's 15 bucks. I mean, it's heavy duty steel. It's thicker than a lot of the hoops, and it's powder coated green. I think the main reason why it was 15 bucks is because it's made in America. And I do believe in supporting American jobs. Plus, I thought I would just try this out this season and see how well it works. If it works out well, I might try something like this or more of these in the future. So over in the lattice part of the garden, I've made some improvements. For the past 2 years, I've been wanting to do this, and I finally got off my lazy ass and did it. And that is, I attached chicken wire all the way around, including the 2 removable panels. So this ought to help keep some of the critters out. Additionally, I've done some reinforcing, whether it would be something where I needed to replace some of the rotted wood that's holding up the landscaping lumber, or replacing rotted landscaping lumber, or even adding some, as well as adding the number of cable ties holding everything together. Now back here, as well as in other parts of the garden, the strawberries have just done great this season. This is the best strawberry season we've ever had in this garden. And I think part of it has to do with me moving strawberry plants around every season, transplanting some, and composting a lot of strawberries over the year. And that's given it an opportunity to spread out. But also, at the end of the season last season, I removed a lot of raspberry bushes. And I think maybe those might have been choking out the strawberries because they're doing really good this year. So this season I got a lemon boy tomato plant like I did last season, and it's almost in the same spot, but I decided to move it a little bit further away from the lattice to see how well it would do. Next to it, I've got one of these Golden California Wonder Bells. This is another one of those ones that was sold at the farmer's market where I get 4 in a tray. There's another over there, it needs a hoop, and there's 2 over here that have hoops. In this area, I planted a bunch of blonde bell pepper seeds that I saved from last year. And further back, I planted some lunchbox red seeds from last year. And you can see there's a lunchbox red plant that I purchased. I don't know if these are going to come up at all or not. And over here, I've got, it's either a big boy or a better boy. It's a big boy red tomato plant. And I've got a pretty big heavy-duty hoop on that. And I've got a big Bertha bell here. And this is a new hoop I bought this year. It's a little bit more heavy-duty and it's powder-coated green. I may end up getting more of these hoops. And then here's a Bonnie green bell pepper plant. And over here, you can see the green beans are already coming up. These green beans are the Burpee Kentucky Wonder green bean you can buy in a little packet. I planted these. You can see where they're coming up. Now, along the other edge, you might see just a couple coming up, but not really anything happening there. I got the organic version of the plant, and I just don't think it's doing that well. So I might plant some more of these and just see what happens. Maybe I'll get some late green beans. Moving over into the other section of the lattice part of the garden. First plant I've got here is a Thunderbolt sweet pepper plant. So it looks like a banana pepper except it's red. So it's supposed to be sweet. And then over here I've got a sweet or mild banana pepper plant. I decided to plant it in the same spot as last year. But I decided not to put any tomatoes over here because they just kind of went out of control. Some of the green onions have spilled over in here and they might be preventing some of the green beans from growing, but I think that if I plant another set of seeds here, I might get some good results. And of course, still have to weed back here. Then I've also got a red bell pepper plant over here, just kind of out of the way. I kind of wanted to make more room for the green beans in this section of the garden because last year I didn't have very good results. As usual, the green onions and the red and yellow onions have gone crazy. We harvest these first. Started harvesting these in chives a few months ago, actually. and they also tend to last a little bit longer than everything else. You can see here I've replaced or added some landscaping lumber to try to improve this section of the garden. And then over here in the front of the garden that I really never go to, this is where all these lilies grow. They're all stomped down, but that's fine. Early in the season, I'm not worried about it. They'll come back, but I replace a bunch of rotted wood over here and just reinforce this some. And that's really my main goal this year, is to work on the infrastructure in the garden that I've neglected. I've thrown away some hoops that were broken. I've painted some more hoops. I mean, I paint them every year, but I'd like to kind of replace some of that stuff and try to make some other improvements around here so that I don't have to in upcoming years, and I can focus more on gardening. In the newest part of the garden, got a lot of strawberry plants and some mint growing here that's supposed to repel the deer, but I don't think it's doing the job. There's some cilantro right there, and then in this bare spot, I just threw down a bunch of seeds. Peppers and tomatoes. Don't really know what kind of peppers. Maybe something will come up, maybe it won't, but this part of the garden doesn't get enough light. I really need to make some improvements here to get more light in. I just figured if something grows, great, and if it doesn't, no harm, no foul. Over here, strawberries started coming up and green onion. So I transplanted some mint that, once again, doesn't really seem to be repelling the deer out of another part of the garden. And I've just ripped out some of the weeds and grass over here. And I think what I might do is just throw down some straw and then maybe make a border and just extend the garden a little bit to see how it does. Over here, I've got a cayenne pepper. Now, I decided to put that there to try to repel the deer because I found out last year that if I sprinkle cayenne pepper on the plants, the deer and the groundhog and even the chipmunk to some extent stay away. So I thought maybe if I plant some pepper plants, some hot pepper plants, that might repel them. And that's why over here I've got a mammoth jalapeno plant, both because I love jalapenos and also because I'm hoping it will kind of repel them. There's a little bit of room here for expansion if I have to transplant something later. And more strawberries coming up everywhere. And green onion, just like last year. Since I already had a big red hoop here and this piece of PVC pipe for reinforcement, I decided to go ahead and plant grape tomatoes here just like last year because they did so well. Over here, I planted cilantro seeds that I purchased this year. And right here in this bare spot, I planted Mexibel seeds that I saved from last year. And just like with the others, I dried them out and stored them in a Ziploc bag. So maybe something will come up, maybe it won't. I haven't seen any Mexibels for sale at any of the nurseries or home improvement stores that I've gone to. It's been kind of a disappointment. No Mexibel, no Fresno peppers, and no Thai hot peppers this year. Over here, I've got another tomato plant. I've got a Husky Cherry Red. And there's a little bit of room in the back there if I needed to transplant something. I put a strawberry plant over here, and you can see it doesn't look too well, but I think it'll come back strong next year. Speaking of strawberries, there's one right there. They're all throughout here. This strawberry patch has gone nuts. I decided to put a hot banana pepper in here, once again, under the premise that it might repel deer. And back there, that's either carrot or wild carrot maybe. And more green onions. And then the chives that have gone nuts and made lots of these little seed balls on the end there. So in addition to the chives spreading out on their own, I can plant these all over, and hopefully next year I'll have even more. The deer don't seem to like these, so maybe I can use this as some sort of repellent. I don't know. In the time that I've been filming this, I've already had a chipmunk and a woodchuck go running by. They're kind of brave. I think I might need to invest in a live trap. So over in this section of the garden, I've got a sun sugar cherry tomato plant that was over there last year. I put it over here this year. And then here's a California Wonder Bell plant. And then back there, I planted a bunch of jalapeno seeds. Jalapeno, another one that I haven't seen this season at any of the stores. Over here, I've got a purple bell plant. There were some available kind of early, I guess, in the time I was out looking for plants, and then they sort of disappeared. Over here, I've got a big Bertha Bell, and over here, I've got a Golden Summer, which should be like those other yellow bell pepper plants that I got at the farmer's market. This one I actually got at Whole Foods of all places. I'll get some of the mint out of there because I don't want that choking it off. On the other side of the fence in this big red hoop, I've got a giant Marconi bell pepper, some more strawberries, and more weeds. Also these, I don't know if this is from the chives or if it's some other kind of weed. I don't know, but it's been growing everywhere and kind of getting in the way. I've been ripping it out where I can, but it's a constant battle to get all this crap out of here. Here's another purple bell pepper, the raspberry plant that I might have to trim back because it's already trying to grow into the hoop. And this is either weed or could be a carrot. Don't know. I'll pull it up later and find out. Another purple bell pepper. A Juliet tomato, which I'm thinking is like a grape tomato. You see, there's already some on it. Yeah, those have got to be grape tomatoes. This one, I think I purchased at a landscaping place. And over here, another purple bell pepper. I want to make sure that I had purple bell peppers this year. Plus, they just didn't have some of the other things I was looking for. And over here, these are two green bell peppers that I got at the farmer's market. You see I put green hoops around them. And in this bare section, at the very end of the garden, I reinforced the chicken wire with a post and some cable ties. And I threw a bunch of seeds in here. Once again, random pepper seeds, random tomato seeds. We'll see what happens. So I don't know when I'm going to post my next update, but this just gives you an idea about what's going on with the garden and kind of my starting point for the year. I've still got some more repairs and improvements to make to it, and the only plant that I'll buy if I see out there available late in the season is a Thai hot pepper plant. I really wanted one of those, but right now, probably the next purchases I make will be a few more of these more heavy-duty hoops and maybe some more chicken wire, as well as a live trap. So if anything happens with any of that, I'll try to make a video on it. Otherwise, hopefully I've got some shorts in the near future showing me harvesting something. Thanks for watching.